Ātmavabhāsya yatyeko buddhyadinindriyanyapi Deepo ghatadivatsvatma jadaisthirnavabhasyate. Ātma, the self, avabhasyati, illumines, eka, single, buddhyadini, intellect, etc., indriyani, sense organs, api, also, deepaha, lamp, gatadivat, like the pots, etc., svatma, itself, jadaihi, inert, taihi, by themselves, na, not, avabhasyate, illumined. Ātman alone illumines the mind, sense organs, etc., as a lamp illumines a jar or pot. These material objects cannot illuminate themselves because they are inert.
Namaste. So the objects in the material world don't illumine themselves. They can't, because they are not the source of existence, knowledge, and bliss. That's only Brahman. So Brahman is the actual illuminator of everything that seems to shine. The sun, the planets, the moon, the intelligence, the mind, the ego, the prana, life force in the body, and so on. Now, of all the living entities, the ones who shine the brightest are the ones who are the closest to Brahman. That just makes sense because in our everyday experience, we see that the pots that are closest to the lamp shine more brightly, isn't it? So similarly, the human beings who are closest to Brahman are the most brilliant, shining examples of what it is to be a human being. And in the Vedic literature, these are called Vira. Vira basically means strong, but in the Vedas, it carries the implication of a hero. A hero is a person who is so strongly committed to a purpose or an aim or a goal that he is willing to bet his life. He's willing to risk his life on attaining this goal. He's willing to lose everything. And in the Vedic literature, there are three types of heroes. The Yuddha hero is the fighter, the military man. The hero in the usual sense of the word, who goes out and wins the battle and carries the day. The Danavir is a great giver, a heroic giver. He's willing to risk all his wealth to make charitable donations for some purpose, some noble purpose approved by the scriptures for the purpose of salvation. He wants to go to the heavenly planets, same as the Yuddhavira. The Yuddhavira fights to gain a place in the heavens, fame, reputation, and of course, power. But the Danavira is even more noble. He's ready to give up even his wealth, his source of power. But then we have the Dharmavira. The Dharmavira is willing to do whatever it takes to get liberation. He and he alone can develop mumukshutvam, the desire for liberation. It's not just a desire, it's an all-consuming passion for liberation. Why is this heroic? Because not only does the Dharmavira have to give up home, family, fortune, fame, power, and even scholarship and even renunciation itself to attain his goal. But his goal, which is enlightenment, moksha, means that not only at the time of death, not only does the gross body fall away and disintegrate and disappear, but also the subtle body. The four inner koshas, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, and anandamaya kosha. The antakarana, the inner organ, the mind, intelligence, false ego, and life energy, they also have to die to attain complete liberation. Why is that? Because a conditioned living entity in the grip of samsara has to transmigrate from one body to another. That means one gross body to another gross body. The subtle bodies, the prana, mind, intelligence, and the anandamaya kosha, the subtle shupti chaitanya kosha, they remain intact. And they go with the conditioned soul to the next body, and that is how the karma is propagated from one life to the next. So, the ordinary death of the conditioned living entity is not really complete death. It's only death of the annamaya kosha, the external food body. But the internal subtle bodies are not affected at all. In fact, they are immortal for the duration of the entire universe. So you can go on taking new bodies for trillions of years, It's a harrowing prospect. But equally harrowing is the prospect of total death, not only of the gross body, but of the subtle bodies as well. For one who becomes fully liberated, moksha, that means he permanently, fully, and irrevocably gives up having a body, a mind, a false ego, a memory, a separate identity, an individual consciousness, and so on. Of course, all these things are completely illusory. Actually, Brahman alone exists. Everything else is an illusion. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Everything else is a false idea. Mithya means it neither exists nor does not exist. We can't explain it exactly. It's like Maya. Maya is Mithya. Maya seems real, and it seems to be very consistent in following natural laws and so on. But actually, Maya doesn't really exist, because all the manifestations of Maya are temporary. So even though the subtle body may persist for a really, really long time, trillions of years, it's still temporary. And even though the material creation is similarly long-lived and apparently solid, at the end of the creation, it's also burnt up into ashes and nothing is left over. So you want to stick around for that? Have fun. Those of us who understand the knowledge, the tmabodhah, realize that this is not the noble path. This material creation is full of so many problems and misunderstandings and just bad experiences and so on, that why would we want to stick around for it? No, we're leaving, we're getting out. First of all, we're going to purify our entire existence by giving up lust, greed, avarice, jealousy, anger, hatred, and so on. Renunciation, based on viveka, the discrimination between the real and the unreal. Now, if we take viveka all the way, get rid of everything that's unreal, that means we're not only giving up our body, our mind, and intelligence, we're giving up the whole world. The whole universe disappears for one who is truly renounced. And his mind becomes samadhana, fixed in Brahman alone, with no other entity being within its range, because Brahman is already everything. And Brahman already knows everything. Just like you know what's going on in your finger. You don't need any instrument or any website or anything to tell you what's going on in your finger. You know directly without even having to look at it. So in the same way, Brahman knows everything because Brahman is everything. Everything is Brahman's arms and legs and fingers and toes and other organs. Because Brahman is the existence, the ocean of being. And one who realizes Brahman merges into Brahman and actually already is Brahman, but just has to recognize the fact by giving up all illusions.
Om Tat Sat, Om Shakti.